Speak to someone who has done 3,000 digital marketing campaigns. Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Bakaya. So the new video podcast and my, I would say, effort to bring in education for marketing, sales, technical in the whole B2B or B2C tech world. Today Sam Shetty is joining us. So Sam is someone who is very passionate about digital marketing. In my conversation through few years, and I think I know Sam for past decade. Sam has taught me a lot about digital marketing. So he is someone who has executed, someone who has planned, made strategies for one of the most iconic brands in Australia, and he heads up eWeb marketing. So without any further ado, Sam, how are you?
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. That's good. Thanks for having me out here.
It's a pleasure, Sam. It's a pleasure. Look, how long have I been known you for? 2000.
14 years.
I've known you for 14 years.
That's right.
Shit. I feel old. 14 years. I don't think so. I know my wife for 14 years. No, I know her since we were kids, but after that. And you have been working for eWeb marketing. You head up eWeb marketing as a CEO.
That's right. Okay. I actually moved into Australia almost 18 years back. So I moved in from Dubai. I was used to working with large brands trying to sell $1 million solutions. So when I moved into Australia, I said I want to do something different. Mm-hmm. So I came across a business that does domain names and so on. That was a company called as Net Registry. Right. So I jumped from basically working with $1 million deals to straight away jumping into something worth $50.
Oh, wow.
But it was quite interesting because this was way back in, I would say, 2005. Right. So around 2005, having a website was literally a luxury. It's mainly the bigger businesses that would think about having a website. Smaller businesses didn't really bother. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then as time went on, we saw that small businesses could actually compete with larger brands by just having an online presence. And by in the next maybe 4 or 5 years, almost every business started realizing the importance of having a domain name, importance of having a website, and basically going online. Mm-hmm. But even around 2010, 2011, out of every, I would say, 3 business owners I would speak to about their website, they'll always say, one of them would say, I've got a family friend who's going to help me with the website. Right. And then you could have someone saying, hey, I've got this friend of mine, he knows a bit of HTML and he's going to build a website for me. Mm. So I would say there's been a whole shift in how smaller businesses have started adapting to the power of the internet. And that's where websites and digital marketing started taking mainframe.
I think something very interesting you said over there, and I want to pick up your brains on this, right? You said that people started realizing that now with the age of digital marketing, small businesses can compete with large businesses. And that's something very interesting. That's for me, that's an aha moment, right? Because pre-2000, it was, I think, all about capturing maximum ad space, billboards, posters on bus stops, etc., whatnot. But when we were introduced with the principles and fundamentals of digital marketing, we had a level playing field. In your experience, did you work with a customer who was in the same market as a very big enterprise, and then with your strategies, with your execution, that particular small business came at par with that big business? Or not greater, but maybe at par. Do you have any example, any stories to share?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think there are quite a lot of interesting stories because to start with, I would say we used to do domain name registrations. So in a month, we would see that around close to, just with one company, a net registry, we were seeing around 20,000 domains getting registered. Wow. The challenge is that a lot of domains get registered, and most of them are business plans done over a barbecue, saying, hey, you know what, I've got this amazing idea, and the next thing they think about is getting a website. But then um, over the last few years, I've come across a lot of interesting stories where people knew what they were after, but they were open to understanding how they can use internet for marketing as such. I recollect one of these businesses that approached to us that was selling, you could say, the car portable car washers. It's like a jerry can with which is powered by a battery power. So this lady approached me and says, I've got this amazing product and I want to take it to market. And right now, there's hardly anyone selling it in Australia. So she actually had an advantage because she was one of the first ones to get with it. So it was a product called as Car Cube. You simply connect it to your car battery and then you get a pressure wash. So you're literally, like getting a car wash at home. And she started doing it. She had a website and then she started dabbling with the SEO. And because there were very few people selling it, the website started to rank in no time. And I think the challenge, what happened with her is that she realized that within 6 months' time, one of the bigger car companies started selling it. But the benefit that she had was that her price was almost half than what she was selling compared to the bigger retailer. So she did come to me panically and say, hey, you know what, suddenly I've got competition. I said, which is in a good way, because for you, someone else is now going to educate the market. Because what I feel is a lot of small businesses, when they have a smaller budget, they don't have the time, money to educate a target audience. Everyone wants a ready-made audience to sell the products to.
Now that's something very interesting. I want to touch on that, and this is really mind-boggling thing, right? So a small business enters into a market, a big players enters into the same market, but it's actually not that bad for the small business as we think, because they may not have capital to grow that market, and the big business does that for you. And you still have advantage of your customer loyalty and your brand and the pricing, and you can still flourish. Very symbiotic kind of relationship.
Absolutely. And this lady, she kept coming back to us and say, hey, how do I get in front of more people? Because what was working for her advantage, which she didn't realize, is that the bigger brand was actually spending a lot of money on print media, where they were printing catalogs. And people were finding that product on a catalog, but then some of the smarter ones who knew how to use Google and so on would go onto Google and search for it. And this lady would actually get all the business coming out there. She actually did amazingly well, and she literally got an option to be bought out by someone else, but she held on to it. And she said, I'm pretty sure rather than selling it to someone, maybe this is a good time to reach out to other retailers and see whether I can sell it to them in a way where I can get more money onto it.
Right.
And she did that for almost 3 years. And even though there was competition, I think the benefit she had, and this is exactly, I would say, one of the benefits of spending money on Google advertising or being visible, is because as a consumer, someone might walk into a store, they have a look at the product. And this is something which you've seen happening in a lot of retail stores. If you look at maybe 10 or 15 years back, you walk into a retail store like Good Guys or JB Hi-Fi, you look at a television, the salesperson spends all the time educating you what's a good television. The next thing you do is you take your phone out, look at the model number and say, okay, I'll go home now and I'll research online. And you research online, you tend to get a better price. Okay, and I think that has been a journey for a couple of years. And then the bigger brands realize, okay, we are losing on, we're educating people, and they change gears in terms of their marketing, which we can cover. It's a much more longer
Yeah, the podcast. Yeah, we'll have. I'm sure we will have you on more seasons as I wish. But picking up from where you said that it benefited that lady a lot from doing paid ads. So let's talk about the ROI in today's world. So we just fast forwarding from 2001 to now 2022 to 23. ROI on digital marketing is getting trickier and trickier day by day as the budgets get depleting, obviously due to interest rate hikes or the COVID, etc. What are your thoughts on the ROI of digital marketing? And I know it's a difficult question, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Like, what is the best way to identify and explain ROI to your clients or to the business?
See, it is something which is very common that most businesses face challenge. So I would say in digital marketing, we used to say there used to be a honeymoon period where if a client comes to us, they would normally give us a matter of 3 or 4 months to understand their business, to align their digital marketing, and then focus on a return of investment ROI. But nowadays, if you have one bad month and if the ROI is not good enough, then you already ask too many questions to ask for. I think the challenge with ROI is that two things have changed. One is consumer behavior. So that means the way we use the internet today is much, much different than the way we used it 10 years ago.
Right.
Okay, so we're getting smarter. Everyone is getting smarter the way we use internet. Okay. The second thing is there are consumers, they realize that there is, multiple options for them to go about buying something online. So when I say multiple options is that there is a segment of people who don't like to pay for everything upfront. They like the afterpay kind of stuff.
Right.
So has a number of factors start building into the sales process, the online acquisition process. Automatically the ROI starts dropping down. So normally what would happen is if you look at a couple of years back, you go onto the internet, you search for something, you will normally finish your search and your purchase by the end of that transaction. Maybe it'll take that particular journey, be it 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But nowadays we are living in a multi-screen world. That means even if you're sitting in front of a computer, we have a phone next to us. So as consumers, we get easily distracted. So that means as a marketer today, it's not about just getting someone to your doorstep once. You have to send them to your website or your online presence multiple times before they convert. And this is why the ROI is dropping off, because now you have to send someone directly through a paid ad. Then if they don't convert, then you either put them into an email sequence and say, okay, let me educate this person.
For those people who are just new to the digital marketing, can you explain convert? Is it conversion? Is it they submitting their details, or is it?
So conversion is, end of the day, when someone spends money on marketing, as a business owner, you spend money on marketing, you are looking out for a business outcome. Now the business outcome would be, if let's say you're a real estate agent or you're a property developer, you have a sales team. You're expecting the website or the marketing that you do is to get you online inquiries. So someone coming and having a look at what you have to offer, submitting their details, and then basically the salesperson will take on from that. So that is what we call as converting a stranger to someone who shares their details with us. In an e-commerce store, it's a bit different because an e-commerce store, it's like self-service. You come to the website, you like the products, you make a purchase, you put the credit cards, the transaction is complete. Right. So the conversion rate on an e-commerce store will be much lower than a lead generation website. Because when you're buying something online on an e-commerce store, it's almost like you got to take 7-8 steps to complete the whole transaction. So that means there are multiple reasons people might drop off. That makes the return of investment more painful in an e-commerce store as compared to a lead generation store where someone has a look at, let's say, as I mentioned about a property developer, you have a look at the property developer's website, you say, I like these things, I would like more information. Now for you to get more information, the company is going to ask you to provide your name, your email address, telephone number, you fill in the form. That's a lead that's converted for the property developer. That's a conversion. So there are different kinds of conversions. There are conversions which take you closer to your business outcome, which is making a purchase, and there are conversions which could be a soft conversion. What I mean by soft conversion is you might be an IT company, a software company selling a $500,000 solution. Now no one is going to buy the product straight from you. So maybe the first step that potential customer might do is they might be interested in downloading an ebook about your industry, your book, your services, or whatever it is. So when someone submits their details to fill in a form and download an ebook, that also is a conversion. but the value of the conversion in terms of dollar value will not be as high as someone saying, please call me up. So there are different, you could say, levels of conversion that a business could have. But I think what's more important is, for I normally tell business owners, is when you're looking at spending money on marketing, you really need to understand three basic things. The first thing is, okay, how does your potential customer go about looking for your product or a service?
Right. So what's the pre-conversion customer journey?
That's right, you know. The second thing is, what is the best outcome for your business? Do you want someone to basically book a demo? Do you want someone to sign up for a webinar? What's your marketing goal from the marketing activity?
Right.
The third thing is, how do you actually improve the chances of someone coming to your website and taking that outcome? So these are the things that really needs to be taken into factor when you invest in any kind of digital marketing.
So that's really interesting, and there are very nuances when we speak about, so say for example, an e-commerce that you touched, and then just generating pure leads, and then generating conversions for a B2B, say for example, a software company. And more than often, I've seen that when you get a lead in a B2B tech company, because I am from B2B, so I can speak for that, is when you get a lead from some sort of, say, for example, an ebook or etc. Our aim as a marketeer is to ensure that we guide that particular customer or prospect to get some more information. And give them more information and make their journey smooth. So in the end, they go like, hey, listen, I need to speak to someone from your organization. I love this. I love what you're doing. How can I make this possible in my organization? Who can help me with this? Where I think there is a disconnect, and where I think we need to do a lot of education, is where businesses think is this lead has been converted. Now this lead needs to make sure they spend money, because if they're not spending money, it's a waste of time. It's a wasted lead. So what has happened time and time again, and I know most of the marketeers in my audience would agree with this, is they generate a lead which will have some sort of association or attribution of downloading an ebook, a white paper, or going through a demo. And then I don't know if they're compelled, forced, or they think that they should be funneling it through to sales team straight away. In my opinion, they shouldn't. They should be nurtured even more when the lead is actually ready to say that I want to speak to someone in your sales team. And that's where I think there's a disconnect, or for lack of the better words, there's a lot of disconnect that happens between the world of marketing and world of sales, right? And then sales team goes like, hey, listen, marketing doesn't do anything apart from drinking soya milk and avocados and toast. And then marketing goes like, yeah, sales doesn't do anything. Like, I've given them so many leads and they're not converting them, right? So there's disconnect that is just, taking these two ships apart as they go through the strides of revenue in the ocean. What are your thoughts? And have you ever encountered where in a business where you have seen marketing is coming up with results, but sales is not appreciating that results, and there's a disconnect of education?
Oh, see, it happens a lot of times. See, I think what you have to understand is also, like a business invests in a marketing department when they understand that there's a lot of importance marketing plays in the business. Okay, so over a period of time, when we used to work with businesses, they would come to someone like us and say, we need help with marketing. And then as the importance of marketing started increasing, the business realized that we really need to have a marketing manager, and then they start having a marketing team internally. So there is a growth that happens within a business where it becomes a complete business. I think the challenge is what happened is that, and I've seen this happening. I'll give an example of a builder that we work with. Okay, so now when we've been dealing with this builder for the last 8 years.
By the way, I like you keep bringing real estate and builders example. It exemplifies that we are sitting in Australia where the whole business and how to make money is coming from builders and real estate.
So yeah, so this builder we've been working with for quite some time, and what I normally see is that they have a marketing manager who is our point of contact. But every 3 months, I would have the director of the business, the managing director, come and join us in a meeting. But when he comes to marketing, when he comes to a meeting with us, I can see that the way he looks at marketing is so different than the way the marketing manager looks at the business.
And what might be that difference?
Okay, the difference is very simple. As a marketing agency, our job is to generate leads. Now, those leads could be someone inquiring about building a new house, someone interested in a knockdown and a rebuild kind of a project, someone is looking for house and land packages, and also you have people downloading their brochures. So these are leads that the marketing manager has come to us and says, I need more leads. And for the last few years, that's what we do. So we go every month and say, this is your report, you're doing amazingly well. But when I started talking to the managing director of the business, he had a total different approach to the whole thing. He opens up his laptop and he says, okay, your report says that we had 300 leads. But according to my CRM system that my salespeople use, they are saying that they only got around 40 leads. So why is the difference? Because the thing is, the word lead is a very common term, but the way people look at it is totally different.
I see. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
And then I started kind of questioning, sitting in the meeting, the managing director and the marketing manager. I said, see, you have to understand that the value of each lead is not important. Okay, it's not the same. You have to look at how it's generated and at what stage of the customer's journey is the lead getting originated from. Okay, if someone is going to your website and actually saying, I want a quote for a knockdown and rebuild, that means the question is they already are halfway through the process, as compared to someone coming and say, okay, let me have a look at what your new designs are and download your design. So you really need to understand that. But I think the biggest challenge, what we realized, and which is important, is that the salesperson a lot of times doesn't understand the amount of money the business pays to get that lead. So we realized that with this particular builder, they were getting a lot of people downloading their catalogs, but the salespeople were just ignoring it because they said, oh, this is just a PDF download, is a waste of time. The salespeople were never informed that the cost per lead, even for a download, was worth around $60 for them as a business. Yes, they're selling houses worth $500,000 in build, but then those leads generated were just pushed away by the sales team. They were only going after the cream leads that they wanted.
And what is a cream lead to them?
A cream lead is someone who fills up and says, I have a block of land, this is my size, I want to build a 4-bedroom house with so-and-so. That's like, they feel that's a hot lead for them. As compared to someone says, hey, you know what, I would like to know, whether do you have houses for a narrow block or whatever it is. So it's about, they start cherry picking the leads without knowing the amount of effort that puts in. So
should they care about the amount of effort being put, or should they just be point blank like, listen, I know you have kept in a lot of effort, but I need to make my quota. I need to make my budget. So good luck with your...
See, I think the way I kind of explained to the managing director, I said, see, you're putting in money in marketing. You cannot control the number of people who go to something like Google and search for a product or a service. Okay, what you can control is how people respond to your brand online. Okay, so think about a short-term and a long-term strategy for your marketing as well as your sales team. Okay, your sales team need to understand that if someone is downloading a book or whatever, they still have some element of importance, but how do you use that as a point of contact to build a relationship in the next coming months? Because building a house, again, is not an overnight decision. It takes months, it takes years for some people. But the fact that someone has taken the initiative, they might be 10% ready, but still it's a lead. So it's about educating your sales team that it takes a lot of effort for a business to generate lead, but whatever the quality of the lead is, it's still, and it has to be valued across. Okay.
I think a lot of marketing managers would love you for that. I can already see in my mind that in my comments they're like, "Love you, Sam," and then a lot of sales team will start hating you. No, just kidding. But I think what you do mean to say is that when we are putting a demand generation plan, yes, there's a plan for generating the leads, and yes, there's a plan for receiving the leads. In between, there is a gap, and that gap is to manage expectations. That gap is to, hey, sales team, you will get amazing leads. Where people are saying, hey, listen, I've got a block of land that's with 22 meters opening. It's a 300 square meter block. I want your opinions. That's a hot lead, but you will have someone who will just download. So you have to be tactfully in managing both of those leads. Now, you don't have to spend time in calling them, but reach out to them via an email, and here's a copy of that email that you can send them. Arrange a sequence in HubSpot or Marketo, whatever you're using. But do reach out to them instead of just wasting time. Maybe they will reach out to you, say, "Hey, listen, I did download that PDF, and I already have my bank approval. I need a builder ASAP." Right? So that's an opportunity missed. Right? So I think that where we are missing that piece is the lead delivery system, where you need to manage expectation. I think in B2B what we do is, I don't know if it still prevails, it's an old system where you used to score the leads. We use scoring.
Yep.
And say, for example, so it will have three type of scoring system. Can't remember from top of my head because I'm getting old. So it's demographics, is your first name, last name, email, company name, is from the right ICP. It's your psychographics. What do they do? Where do they go? What do they eat? How do they dress up? Etc. Etc. And it's firmographics, is like, and firmographics are specifically from what we call today ABM, is account-based marketing, is whether that lead is from the specific targeted accounts that I want. So if based on those three criterias, we give them the lead scoring, and then the sales team can choose, okay, this has got a higher lead score, so I want to keep that in this bucket. This has got a low lead score, I would rather give it back to marketing. They can nurture it, and then comes back to me. Do you see that the businesses, the Australian businesses specifically that you deal with, there is a bit of an absence of that lead scoring or lead delivery system?
Yeah, see, I think, let me put it in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of times businesses spend money on digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when they spend money on digital marketing, they don't really define what are their expectations. So what I mean by that is that there's a massive gap, I feel, between reality and expectation in the digital world.
Now we are talking.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a big gap. So I was actually explaining to a cafe owner recently, and he said, listen, I get every day so many emails from companies saying I'll do SEO or Google AdWords and Facebook for you and so on. So how do I really know?
By the way, Sam, can I say something? I hate to just it's rude to stop you every time again, but you give these truth bombs. I love this, how you deal with an enterprise company where you're selling 500,000 worth of software, and then you're also dealing with someone who's running a cafe. And people need to realize that marketing principles across the board are consistent. It's marketing, it's people, right? But please go on. But I just find it so amazing.
Yeah, so the guy, the cafe owner asks me, hey, you know what, I get so many emails, I get so many spam messages, someone saying I can do marketing for you for $100, someone says $1,000. How do I really understand what's the difference, you know? Yeah. So and the guy is extremely non-technical. Okay, right. So I said, okay, I'll try to explain to you as simple as possible. I said, frankly speaking, in digital marketing, there are two kinds of providers. There's one kind of provider who can get people, when someone goes to the internet and searches for a cafe near me, they can make you visible there, but their job stops there. Right. There's another set of group of marketers who will make sure that not only are you visible online, people will come actually to your store. So as a business, when you look at marketing, you need to understand just by being visible online today doesn't mean your marketing needs to end. And this is a problem with a lot of businesses. I feel that what happens is they approach agencies like us and they have just one requirement. I want to be found in Google. I want to get leads. Okay, can you guys help us? So
Get me the rank 1 in 2 days.
So they get all those things, they get visible, and so on. The problem what happens is, once we get them the lead, as a digital marketing agency, most agencies just step back and say our job is done. Okay, as a business owner, he says, great, I've put the money, I've got the leads, but then end of the month the revenue doesn't go up. So there is a journey between someone submitting a lead to someone actually becoming a customer. That's a gray area for all businesses, where there is a responsibility shifted. The business owner thinks that lead that this agency had generated is a shit lead. Okay, the agency says our job was to make your phone ring or get you emails. We can't sell the product for you. So no one takes ownership on that, and I think that is the biggest problem today with a lot of businesses. See, it's not about, you'll be surprised, there are so many businesses that are doing really well online. They're ranking on Google, they're doing everything right, they're visible out there, but they're not happy with the outcome. And that's because there's something missing out there. And I think that's where most businesses need to understand that if you ever engage someone to help you with digital marketing, they need to come with a mindset from a business point of view, that what is your business outcome you want to get from a marketing activity. If you only focus on your marketing activity, it'll make you feel good that you're on the first page of Google, but it's not going to give you an outcome that you wanted in terms of actual business.
Right. That's good wisdom right out there. That's very good wisdom right out there. And people listening to this one, take it in writing, right? So I think making up the strategy, marketing strategy, if you are, you should have these pointers written down somewhere, agreed upon with your management. Like, this is the one that I'll take care of. This is the one that I need your help with, and this is the one that sales will take care of. And have that meeting with the sales team, and I think you will have better sales alignment with your sales team like ever before. I think people misjudge, or I think they have less understanding of how sales team work. And I have learned so much in my life from salespeople, and I think it's a very critical part of the business. And I think if you work together with them on digital marketing front, you will have better conversion. You will have better conversions. I have, in my personal life, I have failed in this area, but I have also succeeded in this area. So I have seen both the sides, the opportunity and the benefit of getting sales team in your bag, and then moving on with the campaign. Moving on to our next section is, because I want to make sure that whatever is there inside your brain, I want to get it out, so that my people, my folks can use some of those wisdom in their next marketing campaign, right? So for someone who is not very technical with digital marketing, right? And a lot of marketing managers in tech space, a lot of them know the surface level of digital marketing, but when you peel the onion layer and then you see, they still don't understand the tactics. And when you ask them, okay, all right, this page is not performing. Have you ever looked at the on-page SEO of it? Have you looked at the customer journey? Oh, yeah, okay, I wasn't aware of that. Is that a thing? Yeah. So I think by the strategic narrative, I think they are very educated, but when it comes to getting deeper into the digital marketing, they struggle. And I'm sure it would be same for any kind of generalistic marketing managers in your world of agency businesses as well. So for a marketing manager, if they're starting for digital marketing, what are the three top things they need to consider?
I think the most important thing is they need to understand what are the KPIs they would like to measure from their marketing activities. They need to be able to have a marking in the sand to say, this is where we are today, this is where we want to be. They also need to, the second thing they really need to understand is that what is the value of every lead that they're going to generate, and how do they basically manage to convince the management as well as the person involved in the sales team that this is how the leads are going to operate. See, there is a certain assumption that most salespeople have, is that they need to be spoon-fed with leads. Okay, but the problem is, as you can understand, that has a number of competition across every industry increases, the online sales process starts reducing. That means, in other words, you will never find a CIO of a company or a CTO of a company doing the entire research online and coming to a final outcome. They might only do 20% of the research. So I think it's really important as a marketing manager or a director that when you start putting your marketing plan together, you really need to understand how do you align your digital marketing cycle with your sales process. So when does the digital marketing stop and when does the actual sales process starts? Because there's nothing like saying that people are just going to find you online, know everything about you, fill in a form and say, okay, now I want to organize a demo for the software. It doesn't happen. You really need to understand what are those steps that you take. And not only that, I think even today, frankly speaking, if you ask any business what is the best source of leads, a lot of them still say it's word of mouth or been referred by someone. The only difference now is that a word of mouth has changed in the last couple of years. Word of mouth maybe a couple of years back was someone providing a name and a telephone number. Now they don't do that. They just provide you a brand name or a domain name and say, have a look at these guys.
Yeah, which is marketing.
And then, so you have to start selling out there. So even if someone recommends you, you still have to convince them digitally that was a good recommendation.
So can we both agree in 2023 word of mouth is marketing?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, from A to Z, it is marketing, right? Is for having a word of mouth, you won't be saying, hey, speak to this guy. I met this guy or girl in one of my friends' wedding. It's not like that. I've Googled them. I saw their website. They have 4.5-star review on G2. They are recommended by Gartner, Forrester. I think they are good. I recommend them.
Exactly.
Right, and then maybe give that credit to the content team that has been publishing it across the channels. I think that we agree on that. My last question before we finish, right? So this is for the group that I'm very passionate about. This is for the group who have chosen marketing as a career. So they are into their second, third year of marketing. They are the coordinators, the marketing specialists. And now here's the thing, right? So a lot of them would be going like, my next career move would be being a marketing manager. A lot of them would be like, my next career move would be I want to become specialized in a particular marketing field, right? And we are so fortunate, you and I, where we have seen marketing going from just marketing manager to SEO to PPC manager to paid, head of paid, etc. In deciding what you want to do, what are the filter questions you would advise?
See, if you look at marketing as a career, it's practically let's look at Australia as a country. You've got around 26 million odd population. You've got almost around 2.2 million small businesses. What you'll realize is marketing is one thing which every business needs, whether it's small or it's big.
True.
Even the bigger brands need marketing, even if they're visible. So if you're getting into a marketing career, a good thing to understand, okay, you've got two parts to take. First thing is, do you want to be part of a business or agency, or do you want to do something on your own? Because that gives you the flexibility. Because digital marketing or marketing is one area where you don't have to have any physical investment. All you need is investment is going to be your website and your time to start your business. So you start looking at which journey you want to go with. Now, if you want to go on a journey where you want to be working within an agency, which then you basically get a much more wider level of experience. Because when you are working in an agency model, where you go to an agency, you'll have people from different areas of marketing. Your knowledge gets better. But even with an agency, again, then there are two different kinds of agencies. There are agencies which are large agencies. It's great to work for a large agency. The limitations are you put into a box. So your exposure is limited. You cannot experiment, you can't learn. You go to a smaller agency, you learn, it's like literally learning life skills of running an agency. So I think it's important to understand whether you want to work in a in a business has a marketing director, or you want to be working on multiple projects. So these are the things that you'll start asking yourself, because see, the thing about what I'm passionate about, what I do, is that every week I come across maybe 30 or different businesses that have either they have a marketing challenge. They might be either in a startup phase, or they might be already be doing around for quite some time. But the amount of knowledge I get talking to these businesses, it helps me with the next few businesses I work with, because that's the experience. So I think, yes, you can be an expert in SEO, you can be an expert in Google AdWords, but the most important thing is what are you passionate about? If you're like, I'm passionate about of helping the smaller communities, smaller businesses. I do a lot of consulting for small businesses, and the way I look at it is that I've got all this knowledge. It's no point taking it to the grave. I might as well share it with people that can make use of it. So I think if you're in that second or third year, you're really thinking about it, it's practically one of the best areas to be in, because it's a product or a service that almost every business needs it, big or small. And also there's so much of variety that you will not get bored of it. If you're creative, you've got a whole social angle to it. If you're technical, there's SEO to it. So there's absolutely no limit to what you can do. But more importantly, I would say, just think about, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years' time? Would you like to be running your own agency? Would you like to be a part of a large digital business like Google and so on? Or would you like to be in an agency model where you learn and speak to businesses? I think that's where you select where you head to.
So let's give maybe, I think because you're here, I want to give that promotion to eWeb marketing. So what is so good about eWeb marketing? Come on.
We, as a business, we've been around for almost 22 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and we have seen a lot of businesses come to us. So we normally would like to help businesses who are looking at growth, but at the same time, we are very transparent. We tell people whether things are going to work for them or not from day one. It's no point, you spending money on your marketing when we ourselves don't believe in it. So for us, that's what we help. Anyone who's looking at growth and who needs maybe a second opinion whether marketing works for them or not, I'm more than happy to provide a strategy session for anyone.
That's nice. And because you have the ability to say no on things that you think will not work between you and the customer, it also means that you pick up your customers very wisely and judiciously. And does that reflect on your customer retention?
Yes, it does. So two things. One is I'm really fortunate. I have got a very good team. A lot of my team members have been with me for more than 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's very difficult in our industry to retain staff beyond 2 years. So I'm fortunate about that. And also, a lot of them are matured people who understand business. Some of them are business owners who've gone into marketing. So they understand the pains a business owner would have when they're spending money on marketing.
Right.
So I think maybe those are two things that really stand out when we look at, there's nothing harm in a new startup or an agency, but I think we have got a lot of experience. We've worked on more than 3,000 campaigns.
3,000 campaigns. That is going to be my hook on promoting this podcast. Speak to someone who has done 3,000 digital marketing campaigns.
Yeah, we've been around for a long time, Rahul. So it's almost 22 years in the making.
So one agency has given 3,000 digital marketing campaigns. Wow. Let's end that podcast over here with that note, so I can digest that fact. I didn't know 3,000 campaigns you have done. But Sam, so good to see you. So good to speak with you. I know this is not the last podcast I'll be doing. I want to know so much about brand reputation. I want to know so much about digital reputation. I want to know so much about step-by-step strategies on executing SEO. There's so much to learn. So I know I'll be inviting you again to this podcast.
No problem.
But thank you so much for coming.
Happy to come. No worries. Thanks a lot, Rahul.